Recruiting Basics, Foundations for Athletic Scholarship Success, Part 3. This is the Recruit Me Athletic Scholarship Podcast, episode number 199. Welcome to the world's longest running podcast on recruiting and athletic scholarships. I'm Jon Fugler. As an athletic scholarship coach and a recruiting author, I want to help you as a family succeed in the recruiting world and get a scholarship for your student athlete. I'm a dad of 2 scholarship athletes myself and also the CEO of Recruit Me. Hey, action produces traction. So this weekly 15-minute podcast will help you do just that. It'll change your scholarship future. You can find every episode on your favorite podcast app, or you can just go to my website, recruitme.com, and you'll find it there. Hey, make sure you check out the RecruitMe 3.0 system at recruitme.com/system. It's the new RecruitMe athletic scholarship system. So check that out. Well, we're in part 3, and I'm sticking with basic number 2. This is going to be kind of like recruiting basic 2B, because we're going to play off last week's episode. Hopefully you did your homework and you identified your top 25 schools in this past week. Hey, if you haven't listened to the previous episodes, the previous 2 of this 8-part series, I encourage you to go back and listen to those because they build one upon another. And this is really a roadmap to an athletic scholarship. So get on that. And this week, we're going to talk about your online research and finding these schools. Where do you look? Is it just off the top of your head? Well, yeah, maybe you could come up with 25 schools that you did that with, but in reality, no, I doubt you came up with 25 really quality schools. So what I want to do for you is give you some resources, places where you can go to be able to build your list. And I've got, 3 resources, actually 5, where you can just go ahead and do your research and build your list. And then a 6th one that I think will be a much simpler way. But first, this resource, this place you can go online is called UnivSearch. That's probably short for University Search. It's an online directory of all U.S. academic institutions, 9,500 plus. This list can be daunting. Yeah, you can search alphabetically, by state, by program. Understand that there are specialty schools listed. So not all these schools have sports programs. It's not just NCAA and NAIA. But this is where you could go. Okay, I'm going to put a link in the show notes to all of these. But if you want to put this in the top of your mind, UnivSearch.com. It's spelled just like it sounds, UnivSearch.com. Each school's name, of course, is a hyperlink to a profile in the school, and the link to the school is within the profile. So it is a really good, exhaustive place to go if you want to check it out alphabetically with a system. Doesn't refer at all to sports. You'll have to visit the website of the college to get its details on the athletic program and see if they should be on your list. So that's a place to go. Here's another one. It's called Unigo, which is not only a directory, but has ratings and reviews by its students. As you look for the school which is the best fit, you've got a lot of factors involved. And it's not just athletics. There are so many things. And getting ratings by students, that gives you a clue, okay? So this is easily found at unigo.com/colleges. Again, I'll have a link in my show notes. So here's another one, a third one. It's called CollegeDegree. CollegeDegree.com/all colleges. You can check that out. So you got UnivSearch, you've got Unigo, and you got CollegeDegree.com. Those are 3 places that you can check out some schools and do your research. You can add to the list that you have. Okay, now let's look at the NCAA. That's a great place to go. It has a roster of all its member schools at ncaa.com/schools. That's excellent resource. The NCAA website, as I've mentioned in the past, is packed with stuff, but you can get your school listing there. And then you can go, the next site to go, of course, is the NAIA site, where you want to check out the schools there. NAIA.org/schools/index. and I will have a link in the show notes for this episode. So those are 5 places that you can go if you want to do your exhaustive research together. I encourage you to do that. Now, the easiest way, this is something that we've been recommending this to families for, over a decade and a half. I really love these guys, College Coaches Online. What they do is they maintain an up-to-date directory of over 25,000 NCAA, NAIA, and junior college coaches, sports divisions, coach contact information, all the data that you want on the school, student body size, even the cost of tuition. So College Coaches Online, it's a great investment. It doesn't cost you that much. And you can just go to College Coaches Online to get your membership, which I believe you can renew every year. But it really is an accurate, up-to-date registry of college and coach information available anywhere. Now, I've heard that some of the things that are on there because college coaches change all the time, and they do research themselves to stay up to date. But as you can imagine, with the numbers of schools out there and numbers of sports programs within the schools, this is a hard thing to track. And it's not like the academic institutions and programs report back to College Coaches Online, but they do the best job they can of having up-to-date information on coaches. But as you look through that and use that, you can even be one who updates College Coaches Online. Their users do that. So what I like about it is that you can identify through an online search the schools that match your criteria, whether it be NCAA or NAIA or the NJCAA, which is the Junior College Association, that match what you want. You can narrow your search down to colleges by location or size, tuition costs, sport division, academics, and in seconds you'll be able to get a list of all the U.S. schools that fit those criteria. And you'll get the coaches' names, addresses, emails, and phone numbers. It's a really good tool, and I love the folks over there at College Coaches Online. This business actually started because the founder, his son was getting into college sports, and it came out just as it did with Recruit Me with our twin sons, an outgrowth of personal experience, and they've kept it going since. And I think it's a family business there. So I would encourage you to use one or more of the resources I just mentioned. The first 5, of course, are free. And then this last one it's paid, but it's well worth the dollars. So last week I had you identify your top 25 schools. I didn't even give you a hint on how to do that except to start surfing and find what you want, do Google searches and see what you come up with. And I hope you got top 25 schools that in your list last week. I'll tell you what your homework is this week in a moment, but just to review over the last couple weeks of what we've done here in the Recruiting Basics, and the key points is planning and goal setting are critical to your success. So you want to set your goals. There are basic questions that student athletes and parents should ask themselves before looking at schools. It'll help you focus on schools that are the best fit for you. I went through those in the last couple weeks, questions that you can ask. And you should have a list of 40 to 50 schools, ideally, for long-term results. Certainly no less than 20. Last week, I asked you to come up with 25. The reason you want to do that is you want to cast your net wide. It's so important. I don't think I mentioned this. You want to come down to the end, whenever that might be, whether it's 1 year from now, 2 years, some of you 3 or 4 years. You want to come down and have choices at the end. There are schools that are going to eliminate themselves because they're just not a good fit. As you go down the road, you say, this school really isn't for me, and you remove that from your list. And there are many schools that are going to eliminate you. Yeah, so you're recruiting them, they're recruiting you, they're looking for a good fit, and they're saying it's not a good fit, talent-wise or other reasons that might not be a good fit there. They may not have a need for someone in your position perhaps, in the year that you'll be going in if you're a position player. There are a number of reasons why the list narrows down as you go along. Even your first contact with these schools, you're not going to get 100% response. You might get 50% or 40%. You may have to go at it again and again to be able to get some sort of response. It's not going to be like, well, I've got 20 schools here, or I've got 10 schools, and I'm going to follow them all the way through. No, if you start out with 10, you're likely to end up with 0 when it comes down to the end, and you have no choice at all. I want you to have a choice. When you come down to making your final school choice, I want you to have more than 1. I want you to have more than 0. I want you to have a handful. And in order to have that handful, you got to cast your net wide at the beginning. Got to cast your net wide at the beginning and continue to add to that list. As I'd mentioned in the last couple weeks, it's not just a once and for all thing. Just to review some things that you want to discuss, parent and athlete. First, for the athlete, which schools are at the top of your list right now based on the research you've done over the last week or so? Which ones are emerging out of those 25? As the parent, which schools would you like your son or daughter to consider? Which ones emerged towards the top for you? And then another question here is, what things are most important to you as you look for a school? You got to get that down, and hopefully you've had that discussion already. If you haven't, that's really important. What is important for you as an athlete? What's important for you as a parent? Discuss this. This can cause some tension. You might, and we had some tense times with our kids too. You can have a discussion and agree to disagree. You got to do that. Agree to disagree. That's critical. Neither of you knows what the end is going to be, what that final school will be that you're going to end up at, student athlete, parent, your son or daughter. You don't know where they're going to end up. So be open, have that discussion, agree to disagree. This is a discovery process, and nobody is right at this point. We don't have all the answers. We don't have the answer. So keep your minds open. Have a discussion, take a deep breath. If you're having a hard time with this and there's tension there, then break away for a little while and come back together again. It's always nice to go off site and have this discussion in a more relaxed atmosphere. So let me encourage you to do that. So your action point, your assignment this week is using one or more of the resources I've mentioned here. I want you to double your list from last week. If you had 25, I want you to increase to 50. If you had 15, I want you to go to 30. If you've already come up with 40 schools, then I won't make you double your list, but I want everybody who's listening to come away with at least 50 schools on your list, if you could do that. Take your list of last week. That's good. That's solid. Using one of the resources or more, will you double your list this week? Again, cast your net wide. Well, that's Recruiting Basic 2B, and I promise you we're going to go on to Recruiting Basic 3 next week. But one of these things build on each other and see what you can do to get the job done this week and get your assignment done. Okay? You take care. We'll talk to you next Tuesday.